I'm Janet Johnson, and I am a manufacturing consultant that works with small and mid-sized family-owned shops. And I help them do three things. I help them to relieve the pressure, I help them to attract and win the big contracts, and I also help them to restore the profitability in their shop. My parents are both immigrants, and they came from the Philippines, and my brother and I are first-generation American. And as far as I have ever known, I really can't remember or think of any other businesses in powdered metal that were immigrants or Asian immigrants. My dad immigrated to the United States in the early 70s, and he got a job with a powdered metal shop in Watertown, Connecticut, and it was called Engineered Sinterings and Plastics. And he loved it. He really, really loved it there. I mean, I remember him coming home and having dinner and hearing all about everything that happened at his shop. When he started his own place in 1991, it really didn't come as a surprise to me because I knew how much he cared about the independence and the freedom of having his own business. My mom has a little different story. She was a medical technologist working at Waterbury Hospital in Connecticut. And so when my dad started his shop, it was a completely new world for her. Working in an industrial environment, she didn't really know what it was about. But she definitely hung in there and helped. There were times where she would work a night shift, a third shift at the hospital, and then come in for first shift at our factory. My brother and I, he's 2 years younger than me, and so I think I was maybe in 7th grade when my dad started his shop. I would help in the office or help with sorting parts. Even at the kitchen table, my dad would bring parts home and work together as a family. And my brother was younger than me, so he would do pretty much the same thing. What was strange was that after my parents left for the Philippines, my dad left in 1999 to retire, and then my mom followed him in 2001 to retire. My brother ended up becoming a ultimate fighting MMA fighter, and I was the one that ended up staying at my shop and running it as the vice president. In my dad's shop, our niche industry was making parts for cosmetic containers. So we made these little 5 to 10 gram little metal weights that went into lipstick tubes and fragrance caps. And our shop, unlike a lot of powdered metal shops, was really built for high volume. It was a 20,000 square foot factory, and the back half had at least 20 presses. And what happens in powdered metal is that your raw material comes in the form of powder, just like talcum powder. It goes into the press, it's pressed at a very high pressure tonnage. And once it's formed, once that green part is formed, it then goes into the sintering process where the parts are baked at 2,000 degrees. The next step is to put it through a tumbler to polish off the edges, and then it's packed. Our shop was really built for speed and for high volume, so we had a large shipping room because our customers would pick up millions of parts every week. My favorite memory of our shop was when my dad won our first big order. We were all sitting in the office and you could hear that fax noise, you know, that unmistakable fax noise and that cranking out of the paper. And my dad took the paper and he says, you know, in his Filipino accent, I can't do it. He's like, Jan, we got our first order for $1 million. And I'm thinking, yes, $1 million? Yes, we're rich, I can't believe it. And of course I'm jumping up and down and freaking out and dancing around the whole place. And he just, no, 1 million parts, not $1 million. And I'm like, what a letdown, you know? Like, you know, that's cool, 1 million parts, but I really wanted to make the big bucks, you know? I was really excited. So, whatever. It wasn't $1 million bucks, it was 1 million parts. But that was just how my dad was, teasing you and laughing at you as you make a fool of yourself. My dad, he had 3 heart surgeries. And I just knew it was from stress and smoking and not eating right and working all the time. So it really taught me to step up my game and help where I could. When you have your family, you just want to work with them, you want to be with them, whether or not you're out fishing or camping or whatever, or working with them, because then you get all the good stories and you get to laugh. They treat you to restaurants and stuff. But at the same time, you get to learn all these things that other people might not learn if their parents, you know, worked in a place they can't just go and visit. When my parents left our shop, both of them left and were done with it by 2001. They actually didn't retire. They went to the Philippines and they started all these businesses there. And they did everything from raising pigs to growing jumbo shrimp to having crazy banana and coconut plantations, everything. But one of the cool pet projects that my dad had was starting schools for kids. One day he just drove up to this vacant area in where he lived, which is called Oriental Mindoro. And there was all these kids playing, and it was the middle of the day. And he was asking his driver, why weren't the kids in school? And the driver said that the town didn't feel that a school was necessary because it was such a poor neighborhood. Education is one of the biggest, most important things to my dad. So he ended up building a house there. What happened was they started a school, they were using the house as an elementary school. And then soon after that, when he got funds from the town, he then built the real school up on top of the hill. And it's still there now. It's called the C. John. It's my mom's and dad's names combined. C. John Primary Elementary School. And I learned that my dad started another elementary school that he never told me about. And it's called Leonardo de los Reyes Elementary School. And it's named for my dad's uncle. One thing that's small to us is huge to another person, and that's what education is about. We give someone else the opportunity to have an education. There's no telling where that ripple effect is going to take you. What are they going to do with their life? How is it going to affect their life, their siblings' life, their parents' life? And that's why he did it. My dad died in 2009, and so a year later, my mom and I started this book project where we send over gently used books to kids over in the Philippines. They get one textbook per classroom. How could you possibly learn that way when the teacher is transcribing everything to the board or trying to photocopy everything? And the kids didn't have any books to take home and read and practice reading, and now they have enough books for 7 schools, hundreds of kids, over 12,000 pounds of books. Now they can read it to their siblings and have good family time that way. And they really appreciate it, and we get a lot out of it too. I'm very proud of both my parents' work because I know that with my dad and his entrepreneur mind that keeps going and going and going, he couldn't have done it if it wasn't for my mom. You know, she was always right next to him, backing him up, being the bad guy when she had to, and really helping out. Working in a shop, age 12 and up, really taught me about the power of working and about being responsible. So when I went away to business school, most of the other kids were learning from case studies. And what I did is I always took what I learned and then I would go to work and I would flip it around in my head and I would see, okay, is this just theory or is this something somebody made up or does it actually work? And so that's just how I tend to be. You know, I'm not a textbook girl. I'm more of a roll up your sleeves and give it a shot and try it. And I think that's how it helped me improve how I am. After working almost 20 years in my family's factory, it's funny, when I go into a shop now, I get really excited because, you know, the sights are the same, the smell is the same, the sounds, and it just takes me back home. And I'm a business consultant, so over the past few years I've been helping everybody from, you know, a small donut shop run by retirees to a funky vintage store that refinishes old furniture. But when I walk into a shop, that's where I feel most at home. It makes me know that I can definitely help this family. I know what they're thinking, I know what their challenges are, and it makes me just feel really good that I can help them. And it's much more rewarding too, because I know like the ripple effect, right? When we help a family-owned business, we know how much they care about their family and education and the community. So I know when I'm helping someone in similar shoes that I had, it makes me really excited. Oftentimes when I go into a client's place of business, it's usually the wife or the mom who's running the bookkeeping and the office for the husband, you know, who started the business. And say a lot of times she doesn't come from that business background or the manufacturing background. Say a lot of times she comes from the health field. So that person is so much like my mom. She's stressed and overwhelmed, she's confused, she's really angry because she's taking out on everyone. And when I'm able to sit down with this person and show them, some systems that I was using, growing up, or teach them little tricks in the computer, and they have that deep sense of relief or this feeling that I got this, it's really rewarding to me. I've been working as a general business consultant since 2010, and it's been really interesting. And most of my business, I would say 90% of the business, has evolved to large construction, where a lot of my clients build the highways and build roads and bridges and things like that, which I think it's really neat because no matter what I do, it just ends up that I'm working with people who make things. And I think that's really cool. I do enjoy consulting a lot. I love working especially with family-owned businesses, working with the moms, working with the kids who are playing, next to the computer on the floor near us. I think it's a lot of fun. It brings a lot of my own skills as a person who, I welcome all families and I just have so much fun working with them. What I really want to choose clients for is their attitude and their willingness to work, and they have like this hot sense of urgency to improve their business, to take care of their family and take care of their employees' families. That's really what I'm looking for, is that attitude. My advice to anybody looking for a career, and you're thinking of all these different factors, everything from working in TV to working with technology on computers or apps or whatever, what I suggest for you to do is check out manufacturing, because there's so many opportunities involved that if you're the kind of person who likes challenges, if you like to think through things and work with other people, then that's the perfect place to go. Oftentimes in manufacturing, people see the old abandoned warehouses or brownfields and all this really toxic stuff from a long time ago. But what they don't realize now is how far manufacturing has come and how much involved we are with environmental responsibility and social responsibility, that I think you would be shocked. Manufacturing is stimulating, it's energizing, it's challenging, it's fun. It's a really cool puzzle piece to solve because there's so many factors involved. And when you use it right, when you're able to strategize and see the big picture, it really allows you to help people in a really big way.